Tonight on News 5 Live, largest turnout of the strike so far as joint unions march in Belize City. Son of former George Street gang leader killed in Belize City Thursday night. And Calcutta Village breaks ground for school after a 10-year wait. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
Instead, I want to celebrate my mother, the voice of reason behind every decision I've ever made. Every all-nighter I survived because she sat by my side. The values she's instilled, I will take with me forever. And I know that you have given me more than I can ever give back to you.
Mothers, our everyday superheroes. The Belize Bank salutes you. Happy Mother's Day.
Do you need to apply for a Social Security card? With our newest online service, My Social Security, applying for a card just got easier. With a My Social Security account, you can apply for a card anytime and anywhere, putting you in control. To use this service, you must first create your My Social Security account. Visit our website. Under Online Services, select My Social Security, provide your personal information, and await activation of your new account. After activation, you are free to log in to your My Social Security account to complete your online application for a Social Security card. Be sure to book your registration appointment to finish the card application process. Gain control and truly experience Social Security at your fingertips.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, May 7th. I am Brighton Codd. The Joint Union's negotiating team may now be seeing some light at the end of the proverbial tunnel in their fight for good governance. News 5 has confirmed that during Thursday's negotiating meeting, GOB's team presented 3 drafts of good governance legislation. Although government had initially indicated that it would take at least 3 months to prepare and present these drafts, it appears the process has been expedited. Union leaders are now taking back to their membership a draft of whistleblowers legislation, a draft of asset recovery legislation, and a draft of campaign financing legislation. There is also a proposed promissory note with possible interest to make up for proposed salary cuts. Union leaders are being optimistically cautious moving forward. News 5's Paul Lopez joined the unions through the streets of Belize City today, where he filed the following report.
After Thursday's heated meeting inside the House of Culture, unions organized themselves to execute one of their largest marches to date. The Belize Progressive Teachers Union and the Christian Workers Union joined today's protest, adding to the swelling numbers.
A little less than a year ago, in the pandemic, we took a position of the board of rejecting 10% on behalf of the staff at PBL, which resulted in the infamous incident of tear gas and rubber bullets. If you go back to the footage, you will see that the president of the Belize National Teachers Union was there, did not run, did not step away, and in fact stood in solidarity with our members there. That is real, you feel me? So it's like we have to figure out how to be there for each other. That's what unionism by its very definition means.
From the Memorial Park in Belize City onto Belchino Bridge and back to the Memorial Park, Protesters marched for approximately 2 hours, even in the rain. Part of the reason for today's protest march was a leaked memo addressed to Belize branch teachers. It notes that the government of Belize presented 3 good governance draft legislation to union leaders during Thursday's meeting.
They came with 2 actually. They presented to us 2 already, and a 3rd one should be on the way as far as I'm aware now. I'm not certain exactly when that will be presented to us, but we definitely will be looking over those legislations. We have our legal people already. I had a review of one of them done by my personal lawyer already, and so we are going to share those legislations with our general membership for them to see as well. They may have their own personal lawyers that they would want to have a look at it. We have the whistleblowers that was presented. Thank you very much, sis. We have the whistleblowers, and then we also have the asset recovery. In short, no. So those 2 were presented. The one that is outstanding is the campaign financing legislations, right? So we hope that by next week, I believe that should be presented to us. I think it's set for about around Monday or thereabouts.
Yes, we have received the 2nd draft now. So we have 2 drafts, and then we have 1 more to go.
You're waiting a 3rd.
Correct. The good governance, we have already informed them of that at our last meeting, so they are aware of that. Our council met last night. They are aware of those proposals as well.
The government of Belize also proposed a promissory note for the public servants and teachers, equivalent to the 10% pay cut, with the possibility of interest. The PSU is concerned the promissory note will only take effect after 3 years, while public servants are demanding immediate savings.
As regards to the 2nd one with the promissory notes and the different things, the membership is still pretty much adamant that they don't want the 10%. It's more an issue of not wanting the 10%. And I honestly believe if it is that the government could look into recommendations I made personally, and I keep making the same recommendation over and over. The government is in control of utilities. If they can cut the utilities for us as public officers, so let's say they cut the water bill 2%, electricity 2%, butane, they lower the price of butane 3%. If they do those things and make sure that the prices of goods in the grocery stores are controlled, right, and minimized, because those go up almost every week for no reason at all except to make the merchants more richer. If they can do things like that and control prices here in Belize, we wouldn't feel the impact of the 10%.
The only thing that we need to take back to our membership now is the matter of the promissory note, that we now have more details on that we can share with our members. A promissory note is something that you will get in the future. So it's not for now, and we understand that. It's something that could be used when things get better. So if it is that our members accept that, then we would be able to present that to them.
Additionally, President of the Belize National Teachers Union, Elena Smith, confirmed that joint union leaders received a commitment from government that the salaries of protesters will not be cut for their time spent protesting.
We put that on the table. That has to be a part of our agreement. Because if it is that we are working in good faith and you want for us to look at your proposals and then step back from the strike, then you have to give something as well. So that was put on the table.
And was that commitment made by the government?
Yes.
The negotiating teams go back to the table on Thursday, May 13th. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Today, the joint union saw one of their largest membership turnouts to date since the Belize National Teachers Union began its strike actions last week, Monday. Protesters were bussed in from all 6 districts. The protest stretched for several blocks as those in attendance marched through the main streets of Belize City. For the joint unions, today's display of numbers was an attempt at showing the government just how strong and united the unions are. President of the Public Service Union, Gerald Henry, told News 5 that he believes they were successful in doing so, while BNTU's President, Senator Elena Smith, says there could be a bigger showing.
We decided to do this just the day before yesterday, and what happened? Well, actually yesterday, in fact, after we left the meeting, no. And what this is all about is simply a solidarity, or a show of solidarity, from as many of our members as possible. We have always been holding back. I've always told you and other reporters that we have been holding back this whole time in terms of our numbers. And we still didn't really, engage with all of our members. We just wanted to show a little bit more force out here today, and just to let everyone realize exactly what the support is like. And moving forward, you will see this will start to grow and grow and grow until, again, like I said, we need to get the government back and realize that this thing is very serious.
Do you believe that you were successful today in showing that strength that you intended to show today?
I certainly feel that way. I am very proud of all the unions that came out, all the members that came out to, fight for what they deserve. We are not fighting for something that we want, right? It's for what we deserve. We have always continued working. We have not stopped working. We have, in fact, been working overtime and not getting paid for that overtime. And then for the government to want to come and cut the 10%, it's really unfair. And so I guess this is what it shows out there, that it's not only myself, but when I speak on behalf of my membership.
Since we've been on strike this time around, this has been the biggest code that we have had. But again, we have always said that we try to maintain as much as we possible and can to follow the protocols in place. But there comes a time when your members say enough is enough, and we have to show our power. And so today was that day when they felt that more of them needed to be out. And so we did not stop them from coming out. It's not our biggest showing, but it's a bigger showing.
Christian Workers Union, the affiliate of the National Trade Union Congress of Belize, which means that we are all sister unions. And so first of all, you have the NTUCB position, that is support for the joint unions. In addition to that, CWU has, between the executive and the executive committee, with reps from all 11 units that we were part of, formed consensus that we are in support of the joint unions. This is not our first event with the joint unions. This is my second. I was at a protest in Bamapan, along with a number of the brothers that you see here from the Stevedore family. There's a duty because so many of our members would want to physically demonstrate that they're in support with their sisters and brothers, but because of their work situations are unable to do that. So ultimately we're duty bound that we have the ability to come out to do so, and so that's what we've done here today.
Today marks 10 days since the Belize National Teachers Union commenced its strike actions. Our records show that teachers also striked for 10 days back in 2015. Historically, the longest period of strike actions by teachers was 11 days, which occurred in 2016. The Christian Workers Union is all too familiar with industrial action in the face of a 10% salary cut. Viewers will recall that back in 2020, CWU members at the Port of Belize Limited took industrial action in the face of a proposed 10% cut for full-time staff. Like the government of Belize now, PBL was facing austere times, having lost 25% of its revenue due to the COVID-19 pandemic. When we caught up with the CWU president today, he said there must be buy-in from those affected and any cuts must be fair, especially for those who make the least.
Salary cuts is a major part of our profession. And you very well know that in coming to our people for salary cut, it had to be approached from a standpoint that we were not putting this on you, that what we had to do was to earn your buy-in. And so ultimately that had to have believability, and obviously what it had to be based on fairness. And I can't speak for any other entity, but we know that those who make the most in our establishment are the ones who have been more adversely affected by the cuts. Those who make the least are the ones who have been minimally impacted by the cuts. You have to be based on principles of what is fair and what is just. Is it easy? No. But is it absolutely important? 100%. This is a time of crisis, a time of reckoning, and it's a time for giants. So nobody forced anybody to be a leader of a union or a rep or nobody forced anybody to become prime minister. We must deal with it, but we are obligated to do the things we need to do in this time of crisis fairly and with a great preoccupation with what is just.
The super bond restructuring remains in limbo following the cancellation of a virtual meeting between Minister of State Christopher Koye and the two largest holders of the government of Belize's US dollar bonds. That meeting was scheduled for earlier this week with an aim to restructuring the bonds that are due in 2034, taking into consideration the country's economic crisis. In a sequence of events chronicled by the Central Bank of Belize, a proposal for the restructuring of the bonds was sent to the three institutions that comprise the Bondholders Committee, namely GMO, Greylock, and Aberdeen Standard Investments. Despite putting forward a suggested plan of action to restructure the bond, GOB did not receive a counter-proposal from the committee ahead of its May 3rd meeting. What the committee did was to communicate several positions and information requests from local authorities. These requests included inquiries about Belize's access to multilateral financing. On Monday, the meeting was called off abruptly when the committee rejected Belize's proposed extension of the customary confidentiality arrangements that were in place. Representatives of the committee then indicated that the discussion would not be worthwhile unless Belize agreed to accept a full IMF program. That position, however, flies in the face of government's plan to move forward with a homegrown economic recovery plan. Nonetheless, the Briceño administration has been working closely with the International Monetary Fund to develop a fiscal adjustment program that Belize believes is generally in line with the IMF's own recommendations. Coming up, the Prime Minister and the Minister of Health and Wellness open a refurbished health clinic in Bullet Tree Village. Stay with us.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word.
The Bible says, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your own book. Mine enemies will retreat when I call to you for help. This I know, God is on my side. I will praise God for what He has promised." Did you know that God has a bottle in heaven and He keeps the tears of people who have endured such sorrow that they can only weep and pray? All day long, David was being pursued by Saul and harassed by the Philistines, who remembered that Israel sang his praises as a great military leader. They pursued him like hungry, panting animals, and David cried out for mercy on the basis of his past faithfulness to God, knowing he was his only hope. David took comfort knowing that God has a scroll of remembrance in which He kept a record of all of his sorrows and preserved his tears in his bottle. Psalms 121 says, "The Lord keeps watch over you as you come and go, both now and forever. All your good deeds are recorded in books that one day will be opened, and your tears stored in bottles that will be poured out and broken as sweet fragrance to God and as judgment upon your enemies." So, as we go through the storms and struggles and sorrows of life, let us not forget that weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning, when we stand in God's presence with broken bottles and open books.
Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
The Public Utilities Commission, PUC, hereby notifies the public that on April 30th, 2021, it made its initial decision in respect of the 2021 Annual Review Proceeding, ARP, for the Belize Electricity Limited, BEL. The Belize Electricity Limited, BEL, made a submission for an Annual Review Proceeding, ARP, on April 1st, 2021. It requested that both the mean electricity rate, MER, at $0.4018 of a dollar per kilowatt hour and tariffs be retained for the next annual tariff period as per values set in the 2020 FTRP final decision. In applying the rate-setting methodology RSM, the MER was assessed to be $0.399 of a dollar per kilowatt hour for the remainder of the full tariff period from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2024, as compared to $0.4018 of a dollar per kilowatt hour previously assessed in the 2020 FTRP final decision. In its initial decision, the Commission has retained the current schedule of fees and charges levied by BEL, but has reduced the tariffs in consequence of a downward assessment in the MER to $0.399 of a dollar per kilowatt hour. The deadline for comments from interested parties on the initial decision is by the close of business on May 10, 2021. The initial decision may be viewed in its entirety at the offices of the Public Utilities Commission at 41 Gabriel Lane, Belize City, or on the PUC website at www.puc.bz. Further details will also be published in the next edition of several newspapers widely circulated in Belize.
I need data to finish my homework, man. Where can I buy credit around here?
You have insufficient funds.
Shucks! I need a call for help.
Yes! Did you credit me?
Need credit but short on cash? Or can't make it to the store? Digi's got you covered with the new Credit Me service. Get credit now, pay later. Just send Get Credit to 456. No need to fret, just use Digi's Credit Me.
Want to leave a lasting impact when you travel? Then travel locally. Make memories to treasure for a lifetime while making a difference. Make protected areas your next travel destination. With over 25 protected areas under the APAMO umbrella, the possibilities for adventure and education are endless. You can bond with friends and family while trekking through the jungles to discover natural pools and breathtaking views. Or take that snorkeling trip to the magnificent world of coral gardens and marine life. Then camp under the stars to end off that perfect day in nature.
By visiting protected areas, you are helping to preserve valuable plant and animal life. You're building local communities and you're keeping our natural and cultural heritage alive.
You have that power. Travel locally and make an impact. We invite you to visit a protected area near you and discover the beauty of Belize's wild places. APAMO, the voice of Belize's protected areas.
As police officers, we are expected to continue to carry out our duties, trying our best to uphold and also to enforce the health regulations. The police department has an important role in the overall fight against this pandemic. We have been affected greatly as frontline workers, but now we have a vaccine to help us move forward as a country. I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine. I will take the vaccine when it's my turn. I urge you to take it too. #GetVaccinated_Belize.
It is my time
to protect your life.
Don't wait to vaccinate.
I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine.
Do not hesitate, Belize. Vaccinate. Be COVID-19 safe.
The vaccine is the best way to protect lives.
Don't wait. Vaccinate.
If you care,
love them,
protect them,
vaccinate them.
Nation, rain or shine, any weather. When we go ball, we go Berger. Quality paint, no faded colors. When we go ball, we go Berger. Let your imagination run free. Any color for this place, when we say ball, that mean it don't peel. Quality in every color, lifetime guarantee. When we go ball, we go Berger. When we go ball, we go Berger. Rain or shine, any color you need. When we go ball, we go Berger.
I was 17 and in love, and I thought he loved me too. But now I know that a loving partner should not take away your choice of clothes you wear or the music you listen to. He should not take away your purse, car keys, or your phone so that when your family calls, you cannot answer. If your partner is controlling you, it is domestic violence. Call 0800-A-WAY-OUT or our cell phone number, 672-9628. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission in collaboration with Miss Universe Belize with funding from the Engender and Spotlight projects.
Although the weekend curfew has been pushed back a couple of hours to midnight, this does not mean Belizeans can return to partying as normal. Home Affairs Minister Karim Musa gave a warning to bar operators who are opening shop to sell liquor. Musa says the statutory instrument is clear when it comes to these establishments.
I would want to advise all bars that the statutory instrument has not been changed in relation to bars. What is in place, again, and this is worth repeating every time we speak with the media, is that only restaurants are allowed to open at this time. So if it is that a bar is reopening and not serving food with alcohol, they are in direct breach of the statutory instrument. So I want to discourage bar owners. Please pay attention to the statutory instrument and what you are allowed to do under the law.
On Thursday, we told you about the decrease in crime across the country for the first quarter of this year, with 14 fewer murders recorded when compared to the same period last year. You heard the Commissioner of Police say that the decline in crimes is because of the cops' hard work and smart strategies. But the public also believes that the COVID-19 restrictions may also have a lot to see with the downturn in violence. So we asked the Minister of Home Affairs if these kinds of restrictions will be considered for policing in the future. Here's what he had to say.
Are these measures going to be explored further in terms of policing even when we move beyond the pandemic?
I do not believe that we should be restricting the movement of persons. So whenever it is that we come out of the pandemic, I do not see us putting in place curfews as limited as midnight. Perhaps moving it to 2 a.m. I believe is a reasonable time that we could eventually move it to. Again, this is coming out of COVID. Because really and truly whatever we have to do, we could do it before 2 a.m., I would think. Like I said, I do not believe in restricting movement unnecessarily. So in terms of your question, that is as far as I'd be willing to consider, no?
This week, hundreds of teachers and public officers took to the streets to demonstrate in Belize City. For the past 2 weeks or so, similar groups have gathered in their respective towns and cities to protest against the government. But there are still concerns about these large gatherings during the pandemic, and we asked Minister of Home Affairs how his police officers are policing these events in light of COVID-19.
What's the police's position in terms of policing these events? I know at the same time we want them to be able to exercise their right, but there are still COVID concerns.
Yes, you're perfectly right there, that the unions have a right to demonstrate. They have a right to express themselves, and that is why the police department has, as far as is possible under the law, we've been very relaxed in our treatment of the unions. The only thing that we want to encourage them is to practice social distancing and to ensure that you're at all times wearing your mask. The numbers have been going down So I'm very thankful for that. And so I can't attribute any numbers of COVID directly to these protests that have been happening. I mean, mind you, it does take 2 to 3 weeks to see results, so I'm hoping and I'm praying that we don't see any spike in COVID.
The COVID-19 vaccine rollout continues for all phases, and up to this week, the healthcare workers have had the highest coverage. Some 85% have taken the first dose, according to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. This is followed by 51% of teachers who have taken the vaccine and 60.5% of persons 60 years and older. One group that is still lagging behind, although it has been 2 weeks since they became eligible to take the vaccine, is the police. On Thursday, the media asked Kampal about the vaccination among his officers and why he himself has not gotten vaccinated.
Give us an update on the percentage of police officers that are now vaccinated.
I cannot say at this time, but I think it is about over 20%.
And then we asked you this 2 weeks ago, sir, but we just wanted an update. Have you now led by example and gotten the vaccine yourself?
No, I've been extremely busy around the country. I was in Punta Gorda, Dangriga, Independence. So I've not had the chance, but I intend to do it before the week is over.
Sorry, take like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I know.
You say you're busy.
The thing is, it's phase 2. This is your time.
Like I said, before the week is over.
Are you scared, sir?
No.
Scared of needles?
No.
Hesitancy?
No.
Commissioner Chester Williams says that community policing is getting a boost across the country as commanders of the different regions are being tasked to form citizen groups that will advise and support their mandate. Here's how he explains it.
It is a directive to all commanders that they need to put in place within their respective area of responsibility a citizen advisory committee, which is similar to what we used to have with the in San Ignacio. And that committee is to be there to work with the police, to advise the police on crime issue in the respective areas, as well as to be a vehicle that can be used to lobby either government or any NGOs for resources to assist the police. So I know that in San Ignacio town they already have the citizen advisory committee. But what needs to be done now is to ensure that the mandate of the committee is achieved. So I've again reminded commanders that there's a need for them to have the monthly meetings because it requires that they must have monthly meetings. And at the monthly meetings, the commander is to do a presentation to the committee to give them an overall appreciation of the crime outlook from a statistical standpoint. Because you don't want to have people contributing and not seeing the result of the contribution. So they must do a presentation to show what is the crime situation, and then the committee is then going to look at the crime outlook, look at the areas being affected, and then make recommendations to the police in terms of how the police can address those issues in those respective areas.
There's much more news after the break, but first, here is a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
Hello Belize. You may not be aware of the new travel requirements set in place by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Passengers traveling to the U.S. must present a negative COVID test or a documentation of having recovered from COVID-19 to travel to the U.S. In light of this, Maya, in partnership with Caring Hands Clinic, have established testing centers in all their municipal airports. Caring Hands Antigen Test Center is operational in San Pedro, Belize City, Dangriga, Placencia, and Hopkins. These testing facilities are staffed by licensed healthcare professionals, including doctors, registered nurses, and nurse practitioners. Testing is done using Abbott rapid test devices that are FDA approved and made in the USA. The service is safe, fast, affordable, and the close proximity of the centers makes them convenient. Walk-ins are welcomed, but appointments are encouraged. If you would like to make an appointment, please feel free to do so at Make your appointment, get tested, and in 15 minutes, you can get back to your vacation.
Belize City Police are on high alert following the late evening murder of a known gang affiliate on Thursday. Gunfire erupted in the vicinity of Baghdad Street yesterday, shortly before 7 p.m. When the shooting subsided, a young man lay dead not far from where his bicycle came to rest. It would appear that Gerald Tillett Jr. attempted to flee on foot after being mortally wounded, but he wouldn't get far before collapsing to the pavement. What investigators later found out was that he was with two persons when one of them unleashed a hail of bullets in his direction. News 5's Isani Caetano has the story.
The gangland slaying of 17-year-old Gerald Tillett Jr. is the latest homicide investigation for the Belize Police Department. The teenager, whose deceased father was once the reputed leader of the George Street Gang, was shot and killed in what is described as hostile territory. Shortly before 7 p.m. on Thursday evening, Tillett was riding a bicycle on Baghdad Street when he was blindsided by a gunman who opened fire on him. Multiple shots were fired, fatally injuring him. Precinct 1 police responded to the scene of the incident, where they retrieved several expended shells. According to a police report that was issued this afternoon, Tillett was riding by when a pair of individuals, both of whom were standing on West Street, called him over. They reportedly walked along with him in the direction of Muscle Street. Upon reaching Baghdad Street, however, one of them pounced on him with lethal force. The unsuspecting teen did not stand a chance. While processing the scene, investigators observed that Tillett's bicycle was a distance away from where he lay motionless. In the wake of the deadly shooting, concerns have been raised about reprisals, since it is believed that the murder is gang-related. Tillett's namesake father, who was also executed in similar fashion in April 2016, was at a popular gambling den in Dangriga. Shiny, as he was known to many, was the head of the criminal organization. His son was only 12 years old at the time of his murder. 5 years later, the family is faced with another tragedy. They respectfully declined an interview with News 5 earlier today. Thus far, police have made no mention of an arrest. What they believe is that both men in whose company he was at the time of the shooting were known to Tillit. Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
Today, the government of Belize inaugurated a health clinic in the village of Bullet Tree in the west. At an official ceremony this afternoon, Minister of Health and Wellness Michelle Shabat and CEO Daisy Mendez were joined by Prime Minister John Briceño as the health facility was officially opened. The goal is to make healthcare accessible to the over 6,000 residents in the village and surrounding areas. After years without a facility, the health center was realized today.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is in keeping with my promise as your area rep to improve the lives of our residents in Kaya North. And it is a part of the commitment made to the Belizean people in our Plan Belize manifesto, where we promise to retrofit existing healthcare facilities and build more community health clinics. This is a dream that has finally come true for the villagers of Bullet Tree. Not only have we retrofitted this facility, we have gone a step further and have upgraded it to a category of a health center. Access to affordable and quality health care is a universal human right. And now, the people of Bullet Tree and surrounding villages will have a full-fledged health center that will serve their basic health care needs.
What Micho and his team are doing here today is just but a small step to what we want to do with the health system. Making sure that everybody can have access. Now, I know we've taken over this government at the worst possible time. Now, we knew that there were going to be problems, that there were going to be challenges, but trust me, I did not know it was going to be that bad. I said, Lord, I knew it was going to be bad, but not that bad. But we have people that are prepared to work, that are determined to work, to turn things around. This area, as soon as we got into, after the election was underwater, we had these historic floods. You know, right after that, we knew that we had to handle and fight and try to flatten the COVID curve. The COVID was spreading all over the country, and we had people dying almost every day. How many of our families and friends were in the hospital? And we're worried about what is going to happen to us. And we knew that we had to do the tough decisions to be able to get back to work.
The Prime Minister got his COVID-19 vaccination today. The health center will be open from Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and will offer outpatient services including chronic illnesses, general checkups, general pediatric services, daily dressings, vaccinations, pap smears, family planning methods, among others. Calcutta Government School is getting a new school building. They have only just broken ground to indicate a commitment for the building, but the school's management is celebrating it as an accomplishment as they have been waiting for a new building for over a decade. Here's the story.
We gathered here today to celebrate a major achievement and accomplishment, to witness the historic groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of a long-awaited primary school and preschool buildings for Calcutta Government School.
For 10 years, Calcutta Government School has been waiting for a new school building, and on Thursday they broke ground to make it happen.
It took the school an entire decade in waiting before this state-of-the-art project was realized. During the waiting process, the school went through its challenges and tribulations, but not once did we lose hope and faith. We all waited patiently for this day to come.
The new school building will have 7 classrooms made of fair concrete and will feature a library, computer room, restrooms, kitchen, and lunchroom. The project will also equip the school with computers and other equipment to support teaching. The project is being implemented by SIF on behalf of the government.
It is going to be a 5-classroom building for the primary school and one classroom for preschool. We all know that our preschoolers are much different in height and size and so on. So all the facilities for them we have, that those need to be specific so that they can use quite properly. That the space for their classroom is usually set up different. All of that has been put into the design to ensure that this happened. For this project, we also have training for different areas in the community and at the school that help to enhance and improve the quality of learning here at the school.
The Calcutta Government School serves 4 villages: Calcutta, Ranchito, San Joaquin, and Carolina. There are approximately 90 primary school students and 10 preschoolers who attend this school. According to Principal Virginia Eck, this new building will make a big difference in the lives of the teachers and students.
The new building will be conducive for learning for students and teachers. They will definitely be motivated by a good learning environment. Schools are places of work as well as places of learning, and our new school will be able to recruit and retain high-quality staff. Schools that are adequately built leads to higher student concentration and energy levels, since students' mood are influenced by basic environmental factors such as light, noise, air quality, and temperature.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
When we return, people love Gracie Rock on the weekends, but now this lovely spot has a trash problem. Efforts to clean up the community after the break.
Nurses Week is celebrated the 6th to the 12th of May annually, and International Nurses Day is celebrated annually on the 12th of May. I take this opportunity to recognize and thank you for your hard work and dedication over the past year and a half while the country grappled with the COVID-19 pandemic. You have demonstrated your tenacity, strength, and competency in caring for those at risk and in vulnerable situations. Nurses continue to deliver services in every corner of this country despite the daily challenges. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is committed to providing all necessary support to nurses to improve their working conditions and strengthen the profession. Although these may not be the best of times economically, these are certainly not the end of times. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has paid the outstanding overtime fees, which had accumulated from June to December 2020, and we're working to ensure that those who have received only partial payment are fully compensated. We're also looking at how quickly we can re-implement the uniform allowance and find other internal mechanisms to offset the shortfall. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is investing in nursing education as a key strategy to increase the cadre of nurses. This year, we are proud to announce that we are offering 50 scholarships for the Practical Nurse program at the University of Belize. We are currently training 19 nurses in midwifery with full scholarships, and we will continue the Professional Nursing Scholarship Program with the support from the Ministry of Education. It is important to note that with the assistance of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, we currently have 5 nurses training in Taiwan, and in September of this year, another 5 nurses will follow. On behalf of the government and the people of Belize, I would like to express my sincerest appreciation to all nurses who have maintained this health system functioning and continuing to demonstrate their commitment to improving the health and wellness of the Belizean population. I wish you all a productive and happy Nurses Week.
The Ministry of the Public Service, Constitutional and Political Reform has announced a realignment of chief executive officers, resulting in Dr. Oswald Martinez being appointed as CEO in the Ministry of Economic Development. Dr. Martinez served as CEO in the Ministry of the Public Service, Constitutional and Political Reform months after the 2020 general elections. He holds a doctorate in economics with a focus on poverty and social development. Rolando Zetina will be CEO in the Ministry of the Public Service, Constitutional and Political Reform. Zetina served over 2 decades at the Social Security Board as the Director of Finance and acting CEO at one point. He holds degrees in business administration and accounting, and his background in decision-making and fiscal discipline. It seems a lot of Belizeans on stay vacation have discovered the beauty of Gracie Rock for weekend river outings, but all these visitors have brought new problems to the community. The village will be holding a cleanup this Saturday. News 5 spoke with Chairman Wayne Pollard today.
It's visitors to the community. There are people who come to enjoy the river. That's the problem we're having. People enjoy the river, but they leave their garbage. Yeah, that's the situation. All the crowd who used to go to Chetamal is now coming to Gracie Rock. So our beaches are packed every Saturday and Sunday and holidays. Everything. You can't find parking at times. Yes, that's the amount of crowd. So you think about the amount of garbage left behind. Tomorrow is the cleanup because of the garbage situation, and more so that is affecting people in the neighboring communities, and livelihoods depend on the river. Yeah, so basically the reason is to get the awareness for people to don't litter, and make we have a clean environment, clean and safe. 8 to 12 we're putting the time. Well, the cutoff time is at 12. People could just maybe bring a gloves and a stick, just to, because in Gracie Rock we're a high forested area, so we have like snakes and different animals could cause harm. So I'm just just as more safety gears to pick up the garbage.
If you want to support the community's efforts, you can find more information on Gracie Rock Village Facebook page or get in touch with the chairman at 623-2127. Usually this would be the time of year when Belizean artists are on stage showing off their talents. But this year, as with so many things, even dance recitals have to be virtual. This Saturday, Modern Dance Movement is holding their show on YouTube with featured choreographer Sisti Fairweather Harms. Sisti, as she is fondly known, has been a part of Belize's performing arts scene since the 1950s. As the artistic director of Vista Dance Studio for 15 years, Sisti left an impact on many young dancers, including MDM's creative director, Jalen Craig. MDM will be including 2 of Sisti's dances, Caribbean Blue from 2003 and Praise to the Lord from 2004, choreographed in memory of Ethel Louise Fairweather. Be sure to catch Sisti's choreography, that is, at the virtual recital on Saturday, May 8, 2021. Just ahead, what will you do for your mother this year? Dwayne Moody takes a little survey, but first, here is the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
In honor of mothers everywhere, NextGen wants to share the love with you. Visit our office to sign up for any NextGen service. No installation or reconnection fee required. But that's not all we have for you. Existing NextGen customers who visit any of our branch office to update their account balance will automatically be entered into our Whoa Mom giveaway for a chance to win 1 month free service. Don't wait. Sign up and save all month long with NextGen. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
Continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to SMART, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
SMART continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your smart broadband with SMART mobile services. SMART, bringing people together.
While traditionally many celebrate Mother's Day on May 10th, in Belize it is usually acknowledged on the second Sunday of the month. So on May 9th this year, children and in some cases fathers are planning a special something for the #1 woman in their lives. News 5's Dwayne Moody hit the streets to find out how people are planning to honor their moms and mother figures this year.
For the past 2 years, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way we celebrate this special day with our mothers. The quarantine regulations and the restrictions in movement, for the most part, have forced us to become more creative on how we celebrate Mother's Day. So what are you doing to celebrate Mother's Day 2021?
I'm planning to go out to have a dinner. Yes.
How has COVID changed the way how you celebrate Mother's Day?
Well, it changed it drastically because now we have to have social distance, and we have to interact less with one another.
That's something I not used to, right? And every time I give my mom a gift, she not take care of it, and we stop like buying gifts for her. But I just feel so bad, and she just works so hard, and I see what she go through just to try and make the best of it. So I kind of collab with my sister and said, let's do something for her. So we decided to go to a pink boutique, and we got her a big Mother's Day basket. So yeah, I hope she likes it. We try to get everything what I think she would love.
Our mother myself, that's just family getting along. Yeah, play games and things, yeah.
Has COVID changed the way how you celebrate Mother's Day? Because I know for last year they had where they made restrict you, and now this year, how has it changed?
Not change me, the same old thing.
For some residents, it's a day to appreciate your loved ones. Like Nikia Nicholas, June Gable says that she will be bringing Mother's Day at her home, but will make it to church for her blessings.
It will be a fabulous day for me, because my kids will come around, they will prepare my food, and I'll go to church Sunday morning, and me and my sister will have a night out, and I'll be back on. I'm going to party the rest of the Mother's Day.
You think COVID has changed the way how you celebrate Mother's Day?
In some way, yes, but in other way, no, because then it's for family, children, and mother, so it doesn't change much.
Respectfully so, some persons having lost their mothers are finding it quite hard to celebrate this Sunday.
I don't celebrate Mother's Day for my mother passed. That like, even though 9 years passed, I still feel it in my heart, so I just go in a burying ground only for flowers before Mother's Day, not on the date. I still heartbroken, so I don't celebrate Mother's Day.
For those who will not make it to see their mothers, they took the opportunity to send greetings.
Well, I would like to send out greetings to my mom, who is in New York. Her name is Ramona Martinez.
Send your greetings to your mommy.
Yes. Hi, Mom.
I have my older sister, Dione, and Eleanor, Jennifer, Erlene, Hazel. Happy Mother's Day.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Be sure to give your mother a little shout out if you are streaming News 5 on Facebook in our comment section. We hope she will be watching too. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I am Brighton Cobb. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.